Hello everyone, this is Marjabin Balot and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Ittihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us. So recently there was a news going out. First of all, this is not the usual Judaism related or religiously motivated video. So since I have said in the description of my channel that we were discussing multiple and multidisciplinary topics. So today I decided some somewhat social and political sort of or international relation related topic. So there was this news around a few days for few days here in Pakistan that Starlink, which is Elon Musk's satellite internet high speed venture, will be coming to Pakistan. And some of the news actually said that it is the first of its kind office in Pakistan. So it will be the first headquarter in South Asia, I guess, for the company Starlink. And our neighbors seem to be really, really pissed off at Elon Musk for choosing us over them, maybe. So I have been, looking at some of the young influencer, tech influencers, and other social influencers which sort of spread information across. My younger sister, she is a big fan. So many of them all of a sudden started to bash about Elon Musk, that he's a workaholic and his employees in Tesla, SpaceX, and here and there, and all his companies, they're not actually happy with him because he expects just too much out of them, and he has targets which are unrealistic, and it puts a lot of pressure on them. And it's really sad, and he's not a good employer, and his employees would actually not recommend working for Tesla or any of Elon Musk's companies. Now ironically, I did a bit of research and I found the most of his workforce is either the Indian diaspora, all the workers, the engineers, and majority of them, if not all, a sufficient number of those employees are actually Indians. And then there's some other, subcontinents, there are Russians, of course, Americans as well. But there is a huge number of the employment force which is actually of origin, or if they are Americans, they're like Indian origin Americans. And of course there are some Indians also who are not American, so he hires from all over the world. So it was very ironic for me that even though he hires Indians and in Americans who have Indian origin roots, and here are some uh, YouTube influencer bashing about the guy. And not few weeks ago, all the Indian startup youngsters were all over crushing over Elon Musk, and they sort of loved him and stuff. And just because Elon Musk's one company, Starlink, chose to go into Pakistan, all of a sudden Elon Musk becomes this evil guy. So I didn't want to talk about this, coming someone who has lived in India for quite some time, actually a total of 8 months, and I have received so much love. I have 9 Raksha Bandhan brothers. I have tied in Rakhi on them, so it's a religious sort of a you know relationship, that you tie a Rakhi on a guy, so you become a spiritual sister, or religiously a sister to that person. So I have huge respect for them, and no doubt I have received so much of hospitality and love and respect when I was in Trivandrum, Kerala. But this attitude was just so belittling, and I was just so disgusted that how can this small thing, that this small company is coming to Pakistan and they will give us high speed internet or whatever, and our neighbors are just so acting like stupid teenagers or even kids. I mean, when we were in nursery, If the teacher would appreciate some other child that we don't like, we uh, all of a sudden start to show our tantrums. So I mean, it was highly disappointing for me to see these people who are educated, young, and like I said, they're YouTube influencer. My sister is a huge fan, and they started to spread, Elon Musk is not a nice guy, or not a nice boss, and his companies are not healthy places to work in. So I was quite shocked. And I think this attitude, this Indian attitude, is such a disappointment that, okay, fine. If India has an issue with Pakistan, deal with it. I mean, sort out your own issues. Have a big out, or I'm not a war promoter, warmonger, or support wars. But if you have an issue, you hate us so much, we hate you so much. Let's have a one-on-one fight. Whoever wins, then settle your scores and move on with it. We got in both our countries. We got independence in 1947. We on 14th August. They on 15th August. We got divorced. Get over it. I mean, I don't understand if this is a love relationship or a purely hate relationship, but it is becoming a very disgusting relationship where, India expects the entire world to hate Pakistan, to shun Pakistan, to boycott Pakistan, and deep down inside, India itself wants to get reunited with Pakistan because they see a huge potential that we have the nukes, we have the army, and then this army with the Indian army, when it merges, and the nuclears of India and nuclear arsenal of India and Pakistan get summed up, it India would have a better position to take on China, and then who knows where and what. So I think there is this hint of evilness which I see, and sometimes I feel ISI and RAW and IB are somewhat best friends, and they are sort of doing all this schemes to fool the world, where Pakistan would just feel that the whole world hates me except India, so I'll just go back to one of those in Bollywood dramatic movies where this woman leaves this lover, and then she goes, and then she ends up with this very ugly evil guy, and then she comes back to the hero, and that sort of drama. So, but yeah, I mean, it is very disgusting. I mean, India at the same time says, Pakistan is a terrorist country, in this country, that country, and the US should sanction it, China should boycott it, the whole world should shun Pakistan. But when it comes to attacking Pakistan or having a full-on war with Pakistan, they never shot a bullet, not a single bullet. They've been saying that we're going to take over the Pakistan so-called Pakistani occupied Kashmir, and we will just go take our forces there, and there will be a war, and then Pakistan would just give us this Pakistan controlled Kashmir. And this has been happening for I think decade, at least a decade. I have been listening that we're going to do this, we're going to take the Pakistani Kashmir and we're going to merge it with the Indian Kashmir. It's not happening. So both the armies, I mean, and in Bangladesh in 1971, as soon the Pakistan army was doing so many atrocities and murdering people, raping people, whatnot. As soon as the Indian army comes, the Pakistani army just comes and surrenders their, the arms and everything. And then the good old Indian army just protects them from the Mufti Bahinis and the trials in Bangladesh, and transports these war criminals, so-called war criminals, according to Indian army and Indian media and Indian politicians. It handovers these war criminals back to Pakistan, actually escort these war criminals back to Pakistan. So this, I feel that this is one big drama, just like the Palestinians show this stage drama. Oh, we are so, we are the most um, discriminated people, and the only bad things happening in the world are only with the Palestinian people. They are the most miserable people in the world. They are the most poor people in the world. They are facing the most the only and the most atrocities in the world. Everything else in the world is fine. They are the only miserable people, so the world should just give them the entire land of Israel and then just, take all the Jews away from them. So this drama kind of a thing is something very irritating and so disgusting, to be honest. So this has been, and personally, it is very disgusting and disappointing to me because I've lived in India. It and that time, 2015, when I went there for a course, I stayed there for 8 odd months, and I received a lot of respect and hospitality and love, and I have a huge respect for them. But these small disgusting things just make me sore and disgusted, and I just seriously don't want to feel that way. And I have friends and I have brothers, Raksha Bandhan brothers in India, whom I respect and care for, and it's just so disgusting to see that India is just out there making sure that the whole world hates Pakistan for every and no reason whatsoever. So all the problems of the world are because of Pakistan. I mean, okay, fine. For a moment, if I believe that, and as a Pakistani, nuking Pakistan or boycotting Pakistan or destroying Pakistan solves any problems, do it. Like today, max tomorrow. If it solves the world's problems, whether it's terrorism, whether it's extremism, whatever, do it. Do it. I mean, one should, if that's the solution, go ahead with that. But I think this whole media war, this whole drama, this propaganda, and you're saying one thing but you mean something else, is just so disgusting. I mean, deceiving their own friends, even US is their friend, they deceive them. They pretend to be friends with Russia, and even then they deceive them. So it's disgusting. India should decide, they actually love Pakistan or they hate Pakistan, what they want to do. If they hate Pakistan, they should be the ones launching a war first, then inviting the US to sanction it or bomb Pakistan or whatever, or involving Israel. I mean, the most disgusting thing that I see is when Indians and India involves all the way from the ends of Middle East, involves Israel and Pakistan into, I don't know what, in enormosity between the two. Okay, fine, we do support Palestinians, but that's like everyone supports Palestinians. The US, the Democrats, the Russians, the Iranians, the whole, I personally feel the whole world supports Palestinians, nobody supports Israel. Everyone in the Israel-Palestine conflict, I think everyone has a softest corner for Palestinians, and they only support Palestinians, they do not support Israel. And I simply don't understand that. And even India supports Palestine and doesn't support Israel. There have been so many resolutions where India has either not voted in support of Israel, stayed like neutral. That's actually going against Israel, to be very honest. And in some cases, India has supported Palestine in many resolutions and stuff. And that was the reason Mahmoud Abbas gave the highest civilian award to Narendra Modi. So, I mean, it's just, I mean, it hurts me to see that India plays this very dirty, paradoxical, self-centered, and self-interest based. But all the countries think of their interests, so does Israel. But that's good, but you don't have to be disgusting about it, and you don't have to go below the belt. I mean, Elon Musk is such a great guy. Oh, he's opening an office in Pakistan. No, he's a bad boss. His employees are not happy with him. He's all of a sudden, he's an evil guy. That's disgusting. So I just hope that there is sensibility coming, generally in the political and international relations stage, and people who have power and who run countries and who have power to influence other people have the sensibility to create a world which is not hate based, but rather bring the best out of each other. Whatever Pakistan does, that I as a Pakistani, I can say Pakistan has a lot to do. There is so many wrongs in my country which needs to be sorted. Religious extremism, terrorism, and support of religious fanaticism is the most important, and I think on the top of my list. And definitely Pakistani authorities need to deal with such things. But I mean, you cannot hold Pakistan, you cannot hold one country responsible for all the evils of the world. This is exactly what the anti-Semites and anti-Zionists do to Israel. They see a source of all the evil in the world is because of Israel. Israel does the wars, Israel is this, Israel supplies weapons, Israel is this, Israel is evil, Israel is doom, the doomsday will come because of it. Come on, that's not every country is a sovereign country in today's democratic, civilized, very high-tech world. So no country can blame any other country before blaming itself for making the decisions and choices and preferences they have. So I think even as individuals, not even parents are ready to take responsibility of their children, and vice versa. Children are not ready these days in this time to take responsibility of their parents. So how can one country be responsible for the evil of all the world, whether it's Pakistan or Israel or any other country for that matter? So stop acting like childishly and be a mature country. And I think you have the capacity to it, at least more than Pakistan. So I just wanted to discuss that. So I hope I haven't offended anyone, especially the people that I am friends with in India and my Rakshabandhan brothers. I have huge respect for people that I've met in India. And actually it breaks my heart to make this video. But it has to be made because there has sensibility has to prevail in the world for peace and prosperity and enlightening the humanity towards betterment. So thank you very much, and again, if I've offended anyone, I'm really sorry, and take care of yourself. Thank you.